Coming up on this edition of MHS Rewind, the MSD of Martinsville is shutting down for the next 2 weeks over concerns of the coronavirus. We'll have the latest. We'll take a look at the search for a new principal and assistant principal for MHS. And we'll take a look at how the students in the RTV classes did at their annual state competition.
And in sports, we'll look at one of the best gymnastics teams Martinsville has ever had. Check in on softball as they prepare for their upcoming season, and take a look at the popular recreational sport of Y-ball. Good morning, MHS. I'm Zane Spangler.
And I'm Mason Brown. We'll have all those stories and more coming up on this edition of MHS Rewind. The MSD of Martinsville will close all of its schools and cancel all events and school-related activities for the next 2 weeks over concerns of the spread of the coronavirus. Superintendent Dr. J. Arthur made an announcement late Thursday night.
Schools will be closed to all students and staff starting Friday after dismissal and will remain closed through spring break. Dr. Arthur says the administrative team will monitor the situation closely during the closure and announce a decision whether to reopen or remain closed on Friday, March 27th.
Students will do off-campus e-learning March 16th through the 20th. Additional information on e-learning will be provided later.
Morgan County has no confirmed cases of the virus. However, many school districts around the state decided Thursday to shut down to help curb the spread of the COVID-19 virus, especially after Governor Eric Holcomb announced that the state will allow school districts to waive up to 20 days from the requirement to deliver 180 instructional days in a school year.
Martinsville High School will have 2 new leaders at the start of the next school year. Former principal Dr. Nick Sears resigned February 14th, and the current interim principal Jesse Burgess is leaving in July to take a job in another district. So now, the MSD of Martinsville is looking for their replacements. Annabelle Cleary takes a closer look at the process.
The search for a new principal is on.
Leadership with integrity is my number one. I want to make sure that whomever we hire is very kid-friendly.
According to Superintendent Dr. J. Arthur, the process begins with a committee of teachers, parents, school board members, and members of the community. They screen applicants to determine who matches a profile created for a new principal.
I'm looking for somebody who's in classrooms, who's supporting teachers, supporting students, but really leading with integrity. That's what I'm looking for in terms of our next principal.
There will be small group interviews to narrow down the candidates and a last round of interviews to come up with a final decision. Teachers at MHS also have their own idea of what they are looking for with their next boss.
I think for me, I am looking for or hopeful of strong instructional leadership, someone who will help bring the different parts of the high school together.
The district won't only be picking a new principal, but they will also have to find a new assistant principal. Jesse Burgess accepted a job at Southmont High School as head principal on February 10th and is sticking to his decision.
So when I gave them my word that I would accept the position, I meant it then and wanted to follow through with it now.
The administration doesn't know yet if they will hire a principal and assistant principal at the same time.
We want to make sure that we're doing what's best for kids and families. So if we find that candidate and he or she is able to be in on the process for the assistant, that would be great. But again, we've got both of them posted right now, so we'll just see what happens and hope for the best.
Their goal is to have a decision made by the next April school board meeting. For MHS Rewind, I'm Annabelle Cleary.
The RTV classes at MHS traveled to the Indiana Association of School Broadcasters State Conference this past Monday at the University of Indianapolis, where they competed for individual awards and the title of TV School of the Year. Ash Olson has the story.
Students in MHS Rewind took home 2 first place, 2 second place, 2 third place, and 2 honorable mentions. Hannah Johnson and Annabelle Cleary won second place for their IHS AA copywriting project.
And our winner in the category.
I was really excited to get an award. I wasn't expecting to get one, and I'm happy I did.
And I even took home 2 first place titles myself. Looks good. But the conference was about more than just competition. Students attended workshops based on radio, television, and film careers they were interested in. held by professionals in those fields. Adam Wiener is the assistant professor of broadcast media at Huntington University. He led a class on creative B-roll, teaching students how to shoot a more interesting interview while getting more interesting shots.
I wanted to help high school students start to get those, get the rhythm and start to learn their craft a little bit better, to learn how can I shoot more B-roll in less time in a more creative way.
Derek Clark is a music video producer and director and a professor at Huntington University. Derek had a class on music videos and talked about some of his experience making them.
Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. And again, everything is just evolving so quickly, right? So what's relevant today might not be relevant tomorrow.
And MHS Rewind did their best to stay relevant during the award ceremony by capturing the title of runner-up for the Indiana Video School of the Year. For MHS Rewind, I'm Asher Wilson.
The publications class received an award last week for having last year's yearbook cover in the portfolio, a book filled with the best yearbook spreads and covers across the country. And one of those publication students just got a job with BuzzFeed. Hannah Johnson has more information on how she was able to do it.
Most teenagers have no idea what they want to do as a career, but that's not the case for Kennedy Casey. She's already started working for the well-known news website BuzzFeed. Ken, as her friends call her, is currently a junior at MHS and is planning on graduating early. She's been in publications classes since middle school, improving her writing skills and gaining interest in journalism. A few weeks ago, she came across a teen ambassadorship on BuzzFeed's website, so she applied. She didn't get the ambassadorship, but instead, she got another email offering her a job as a teen writer covering the Democratic debates.
I want to work at BuzzFeed New York when I'm older. That's always been a dream of mine because they have other opportunities with musical theater there that I could do as well in New York. And I've always wanted to write for a big company, and I just think it's really cool.
She writes for BreakingBlue.org and Redline at school and has for a couple of years. She's learned a lot about her passion for journalism through publications. Casey's pub advisor, Brad Perry, was the first to hear about her new job.
The BuzzFeed could take off. It could be a leg in. Journalism is a cutthroat industry. If she gets serious about it and follows through, that's the biggest thing, follow through. It could be a viable career option for her.
Casey has been getting tips and tricks from BuzzFeed senior editor Laura Parker, whose mother works here in the district. Getting to know Laura is what led Ken to be so interested in BuzzFeed. Her future plans are to study journalism and voice at Ball State after graduating, and then to work with BuzzFeed or other major news websites.
Showing people that I can write as a young person is something very important to me because a lot of people think that our generation is basically like, oh, we're on the internet all day and we don't care about anything. But I really care about like politics and journalism and just everything that it has to do with it.
You can find Casey's articles on BuzzFeed News after every Democratic debate. And if you're interested in doing what she does, try out publications, and maybe you can begin your future plans too. For MHS Rewind, I'm Hannah Johnson.
The academic decathlon team is heading to nationals in Anchorage, Alaska. The team won a state championship in a dual state competition last weekend in Iowa. They attended the Iowa State Championship because the organization that put on the Indiana State Championships dropped their support for it at the end of last year.
The MHS varsity guard finished first in their round last Saturday at the state prelims at Franklin Central. They were fifth out of all 54 teams competing regardless of size. They were scheduled to compete this weekend at the semi-state at Decatur Central, but that event has been postponed.
The prom committee had a meeting Tuesday in Susan Crabb's room to continue planning this year's prom. Stal Meckling has the story.
The committee has met throughout this year and even a little last year to help make this prom a success for the students.
The sponsor last year had stepped down and they needed someone to take over. And I work with National Honor Society, which is all juniors and seniors, and so I felt like a connection with that grade level, and so I decided to just go ahead and do prom.
I decided to be a part of the committee just because I like being involved with as much as I can be in, and I like being in charge, so it fits my personality.
So far, they have the venue set at IU at the same place as last year in the Union. All the major details are put together, and they are headed to the finish line on planning the event.
Right now we're working on putting all the minor details together, so getting the crowns and the playlist and all that stuff, putting that in order.
Our music playlist is actually pretty decent this year. Last year it was terrible, and I am excited to have good music at prom.
I think the decorations are going to be really great this year. And then I also super excited about the photographer. It's Mike Washington, and he does a great job, and I'm super excited about the pictures.
The committee has also been looking ahead to next year's prom and thinking about changing the venue and pricing. Right now, you can get tickets at the bookstore for $45, but prices will increase as it gets closer to the event. Prom will be on May 2nd. For MHS Rewind, I'm Style Meckling.
2 Martinsville swimmers made a trip to the IU Natatorium to compete in the IHSAA Boys Swimming and Diving State Finals on February 28th and 29th. Blake Raines made it to the consolation finals and broke his own record in the 100-meter breaststroke, and he finished 14th overall. Now, Austin Roy also swam in the 100-meter breaststroke and finished 24th.
An MHS wrestler also made it to the state finals. A huge congrats to Micah Dotson for finishing 5th in the 220-pound weight class.
I visited the Martinsville gymnastics team at the beginning of the season to get an insight on how they would perform this season, and they went above and beyond their expectations. The Martinsville gymnastics team had phenomenal performances this season with longtime coach Larry Sachs.
This is probably the best season I've had since I can't remember when. As a team-wise, we're all so much better. I've had individuals, but team-wise, the best team I've had since '86.
The team of 9 girls came extremely close to beating the old record this year.
The record in '86, 104, and we hit 102, so girls have that in their sights. And a lot of skills we've got now, could do it.
There's been meets that have been good, meets that have been bad, but vault has been pretty consistent. I've been getting higher level skills on floor and beam, so I'm doing pretty well.
Junior Lainey Carroll is oldest on the team and has been taking on the role of leader.
But I mean, I've definitely gotten a lot better. I've set my mind of where I want to go, and I think I'm on the right track. In the last 2 seasons, it's just been like, oh, whatever. I wasn't the oldest. I'm leading now, so it's kind of a different mindset.
Sophomore Phoenix Woodard has done very well throughout the season on all the events.
She has a chance to get out on regionals. You know, she scored 35. If you get 35, 36, you got a good chance of getting out. So.
Woodard did indeed get out of regionals. She finished 2nd on the beam at regional and will be competing in that same event at the state finals Saturday at Ball State. Her teammate Lily Boyd also made it to the regionals last weekend in the vault.
MHS will be looking for a couple of new head coaches next year. Girls basketball coach Jessica Johnson has decided to move on from her stay here at MHS. She finished her 2-year stint with a record of 37-11. Coach Johnson says that she really enjoyed working with the girls in the basketball program. She appreciated their work ethic and attitudes in practices, games, and off the court, and is grateful to have built relationships with many of the players. She will be heading to her alma mater, Perry Meridian, to continue her coaching career. Football coach Carter Whitson has also decided to leave MHS. After coming to a program that went 1-19 over the previous 2 years, Whitson brought 18 wins to Martinsville over his 3-year stay. He says that he's proud of the way boys competed and turned around the program. Whitson is returning to his home state of Oklahoma to coach at Putnam City High School, just 1.5 miles from the house he was born in. He says friends and family were the only things that were going to take him away from MHS. However, Whitson says that 29 miles is still the goal. Best of luck to both Coach Johnson and Coach Whitson.
Speaking of new coaches, the softball team swings into their season with a new coach. Olivia Osler has a preview.
The MHS softball team took their practice inside on the 2nd day of tryouts due to the bad weather, but that did not stop them.
It's tough. You're limited indoors to throwing. Our hitting cages, of course, are inside. We're able to utilize those, but it's tough.
Dave Dorsett is the team's new head coach. He coached travel softball for 4 to 5 years and has been coaching basketball for over 36 years.
I'm humbled to be a head coach. I think it's a program that has a lot of kids that can be involved in the success, and to be able to take that kind of legacy on that Coach Roden had in the last 25 years or however many years he was coaching. It was really entertaining to me to be able to take that job and be able to fulfill it and be a part of the Martinsville community along with the softball community.
Dorsett's daughter, Paige, is a returning senior to the team. She started her softball career when she was 6 years old, with her dad coaching her, but he moved to basketball. Now he's back to coaching softball, and Paige and the team couldn't be happier.
And I was pretty excited when I got the job because it's just like an exclamation point on my softball career. So
I really like him. I like messing around with him. He can be stern at times, but I think he's a good coach so far.
Maddie Lindsay and Paige are 2 of 6 returning seniors and all plan on playing softball in college.
You know, we're very blessed to have, out of the 9 starters that we would put on the field, that we feel like 6, 7 of them are going on to play college softball. So not only is that a challenge for us to have results, but it's a challenge for me as a new coach to make sure we don't falter in the talent level that we do have coming back.
With all that talent, the team feels that they should be an offensive powerhouse on the field.
We have a lot of power, so hopefully we'll just try to score a lot of runs.
I think that we are going to be a very power-type hitting team offensively. I think we're going to be very aggressive.
The Artesians will get the chance to display that offense at their first game on Thursday, April 9th at home against Bloomington South. For MHS Rewind, I'm Olivia Osler.
The Martinsville track and field teams are set to begin their season. Matt Thomas has a preview.
The great weather has given the team the opportunity to be outside in order to get ready for the upcoming season.
Every year we go into the season looking at, of course, the mid-state, the county, and then, of course, our big goal is getting to the state meet. Last year was our first year, my first year as a head coach, that we didn't make it to the state meet. We had a nice little run there with our 4x1 team.
Coach Mosgrip is having his seniors lead the team and also have some juniors fill in those leadership roles. He believes the vocal leadership coming from Tyler Cox and Matthew LaFerry will lead them to success.
Our goals, pretty much to PR in everything I run. Hopefully get the 4x1 PR and my 100 meter, hopefully get up there with the school record.
Really just, especially in warm-ups, we slack a little bit in warm-ups and you keep everything, more tight, more straightened up than last year. If we can just do the little things right, I think we'll be good for this year.
Coach Seib is the coach for the girls team again this year. Emily Everode is returning to throw the shot put and discus and talks about her goals for the upcoming season.
Honestly, to keep on breaking our PRs and to improve each meet, even if we don't place where we want to, just as we improve every meet, that's probably the best goal that we can have.
Their next meet is Thursday, April 9th at Brown County High School. For MHS Rewind, I'm Matt Thomas.
And finally, everyone knows that Indiana is a basketball crazy state.
That was even more evident on a recent Friday night here in the John R. Wooden Gymnasium.
Friday night basketball at Martinsville High School. Seems normal. But when you take a closer look, it's really the YMCA Basketball League playing in its end of the season tournament.
I mean, this is Martinsville High School. Our kids are high school students, so it gives them an opportunity to play here on the high school court.
Students from Martinsville and the surrounding area practice once a week and normally play games at the YMCA on Saturdays. However, for the second year in a row, when the tournament comes around, players now get a chance to play in the John R. Wooden Gymnasium.
Kids have fun, but yet they compete, and when it's all said and done, they've enjoyed it and they've had a good time, and I appreciate that part of it more than anything else.
The league is made up of 12 individual teams, all named by different colors. Out of all 12 teams, I was a part of Neon Green, along with my broadcasting partners, Matt Thomas and Anthony Town.
I thought it was kind of cool that 2 of my close friends in my class, in the RTV2 class, was on the same team of Neon Green, and it was just really fun for all of us to just play together.
Over the 9 weeks of games, competitors shared many memorable moments on the court.
I know there was one time where a player on my team broke this kid's ankles and popped a 3 and it went straight in and everybody went crazy. That was awesome.
We were inbounding the ball close to the rim, and I decided to post up, and Zane just threw it to me, and there was about 3 seconds left, and I just made a move and put it up, and we won. So that was our first game.
They were down by 1 or 2, and then Colin got the ball and just chucked it with 2 seconds left and hit it.
The same day Colin Childers hit his half-court heave, Caleb Williams hit a buzzer beater for Orange.
I just know a lot of people that play. I think it's fun to compete with people that you know rather than random people. Yeah, like that. That's competition right there.
You know, when kids participate in things, I think that's really good for them. I think it's good for them physically. I think it's good for them socially. I think it's good for them mentally to get out, participate with kids.
Senior Alex Poppy has played basketball since 6th grade and has enjoyed playing every year.
Favorite moment this time is just playing with a brand new bunch of guys and having like an underdog attitude about it and just playing basketball. I really enjoyed this season.
You know, it's a fun thing you can do, play basketball, but not, and you know, can also manage a part-time job or also play another sport. It's a good way to just, you know, be active, stay active throughout the winter, and it not take up all of your time.
Again, what makes this league is not the YMCA. What makes this league is the players that play in it, the enthusiasm they have for it, and the competition they bring to it every day.
I recommend Y ball if you aren't interested in playing school ball, of course, but Y ball is a good place to go. You make new friends. It's a good atmosphere. It's ran well, and I really recommend it to go and have fun.
For MHS Rewind, I'm Zane Spengler.
Big congrats to Gold, beating out White in the championship game. Great job, guys.
That wraps it up for this edition of MHS Rewind. For Zane Spengler and the rest of the RTV2 class, I'm Mason Brown.
Thanks for watching, and have a great day.